It going.
Put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real well is being real itself. My eyes can see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real well is being real itself. My eyes can see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money. Why you guys are wrong with being wealthy? Like Kanye West said, having money is not everything. Not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's the problem. You know, like money so much, why would you have to go to work for it? I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. That's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. Now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Cortez.
Good morning, good people. It is your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the working class, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working class men and women all over this great nation of ours. Guys, I do count it a privilege and an honor to be able to come to you each and every morning to bring to you information on wealth, business, finance, success in general. Man, it is an honor and a privilege. I thank you guys. I see some of my regulars. Good morning, William. Good morning. Barry, I see you too, bro. That's what we do, man. We gets it in, man. So we got to hook up, man. So I'm going to shoot you an inbox a little bit later today, man, because I want you really to take a look at what we're doing. So today we're talking about your E to E ratio. If you know what an E to E ratio is, I want you to put that in the chat. I'm not sure if you've ever heard my man George Frazier talk about the E to E ratio, but that's what we're going to talk about today. It is literally the difference between winners and losers. If you don't know what your E to E ratio is, I will tell you this. It is the #1 determining factor to your success. But before we get into that, as always, I have to let you know exactly who this show is for. This show is for my risers and grinders. You guys are up every morning tuning into this show because you're about to get up, get out, and get something. Put one foot in front of the other each and every day, man. And if you are about your grind, this show is for you. If you went to bed last night thinking about your legacy, thinking about what you're going to do the next day to make sure that your great-grandchildren are proud to bear your name, this show, my friend, is for you. If you have the desire to be wealthy, the discipline to have business success, the wherewithal, the toughness and everything that it's going to take, but maybe you need a game plan, maybe you need some strategies, maybe you need some mentorship, some guidance, then this show, my friend, is for you. Now, just like we say who the show is for, let me say who this show is not for. If you have one of those weird relationships with money, and you think capitalism is a dirty word, you think money is evil, this show is not for you, my friend. If you have a problem with me just saying the word money 12 times in the last 3 seconds, this show is not for you. If you don't believe in capitalism, if you believe that there's something wrong with me selling you a product or service, this show is not for you because you clearly don't get how the money game is played and how this economy is set up. And you will never win in life if you don't understand how the money game is played here in America. And what I find funny about those people who have that weird relationship with money will tell you in a heartbeat that money ain't everything. They'll tell you in a heartbreak that money don't mean nothing to me. But those very people will run your ass over in the streets if you catch them 5 or 10 minutes running late for work. Right? Did I just say that out loud? I'm sorry. But that's what we're talking about, guys. So we're talking about your E to E ratio. But let me be clear on something, though. I do not have a problem with you not wanting to be wealthy. I only have a problem with you having a problem with me wanting to be wealthy. I tell you every morning, and there's a reason that I tell you, if you've never seen a future billionaire, then take a screenshot because you're looking at one right now, and you can take that to the bank. All right? Hold me accountable. Watch me work and see what happens over the next 10 to 15 years, right? So if that's you, you can tune out to the show and we won't feel no ill feelings towards you. Today's show is brought to you by National Credit Educational Services. If you, my friend, are in need of credit restoration, right? If you need credit restoration, not credit repair, credit restoration, then shoot me an inbox and I will give you the link to National Credit Educational Services so you can get with them and they can restore your credit. If you don't understand why in 2016 you need good credit, then obviously you've been under a rock somewhere for the last 15, 20, 25 years. Guys, everybody that partners with me, I send them through this protocol because when you have your credit right personally, then I can teach you how to leverage business credit, right? To the tune of maybe you get a single line of credit of $50,000. You take that line of credit, now you got a $50,000 down payment on a 100 unit apartment building. So we want you out of personal credit, but we want to teach you how to leverage business credit. But the best way to leverage business credit, if you don't have a business that's been in existence for 3 to 5 years, then the best way to leverage business credit is to have solid personal credit. And if you don't have the time or the energy or the will to restore your own credit, because you can do it yourself, I won't lie, you can do it yourself. But if you don't have the time and you'd rather just pay somebody to do it, there's no better service out there to do that for you than the National Credit Educational Services, who endorses my show. I'm a member of their program. So if you would like that information, then shoot me an inbox and I'll get you the link to National Credit Educational Services so you can get your credit restored. And just know there is a difference between credit restoration and credit repair. Make sense? Today, we're talking about your E to E ratio. Did anybody have any idea what E to E stands for? I was trying to see if you guys on Facebook can put in the chat, what is the E to E ratio? Have you ever heard my man George C. Frazier talk about the E to E ratio? Anybody got any ideas, any clues what the two E's stand for? E to E ratio. That's what we're talking about today. The E to E ratio literally determines your success in this life, whether it is a success in wealth, success in business, success in relationships, success in parenting. It doesn't matter what you want to have success in. Your E to E ratio is a large determining factor on whether or not you're going to have that success. No comments, nobody, anybody. What do you think the E to E ratio is all about? Anybody got any idea? Have you ever heard of the E to E ratio? Facebook, I'm waiting on you. Anybody? The E to E ratio. Because we're going to talk about it. We're going to dive into it. New ears in the building. Okay. Nobody's ever heard of the E to E ratio. I'm going to break it down to you. And you've heard of it. You may not have just heard of it and I put it in this place, because basically what the E to E ratio is, that is your earning to effort ratio. That's a good guess. Zane. Earning to effort ratio. We might have to do a show on that one. Haven't heard of it? No, haven't heard of it. Okay, so your E to E ratio and why it's so important to determine your success. Your E to E ratio is your education to entertainment ratio. It's your education to entertainment ratio. In other words, does the amount of time you spend educating yourself supersede the amount of time that you spend entertaining yourself? So your E to E ratio is your education to entertainment ratio, right? What is that ratio? Is it 1 to 1? Is it 2 to 1? Is it 0 to 3, right? It's your E to E ratio. Wow, big gap. A lot of people have that big gap. That's why a lot of people are struggling to build success for themselves. The amount of time you spend educating yourself versus the amount of time you spend entertaining yourself. So for instance, do you read as much as you watch television? Right? Do you read educational material? You guys are here because you know I teach wealth, business, and things of that nature. Are you reading books on wealth? Are you reading books on business principles? Are you reading books on business strategy? Are you reading personal success, personal growth and self-development books as much as you are watching TV? That's your E to E ratio. That's his home hard right now. I said that his home right now. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Your business to business, your education to entertainment ratio. So that's what we're talking about. So are you reading as much as you're watching TV? Right? Here's another one. Are you attending as many seminars as you're attending sporting events and concerts? Are you attending as many seminars on whatever you want to be successful at as you are attending sporting events and concerts? Right? Something we got to think about. So what I'm saying is, when it comes to success, we all have jobs, right? And I'm not bashing a job, but that's your 9 to 5. Question is, what do you do with your 6 to 12? What do you do with your 6 to midnight? That's the question. What are you doing with your 6 to midnight if you say you really want success? Hey, what's going on, Sandra? What are you doing with your 6 to midnight every night? I get you're going to need 6 hours worth of sleep. So from midnight to 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, depending on what time you got to get up for work, you got to get your sleep in. But guys, we're getting off work and we say we want to be successful. We say we want to have wealth. We say we want our business to flourish. We say we want solid relationships. We say we want to become better parents. But we're getting off work, 5 o'clock. It's taking us an hour to commute and to 6 o'clock to get home, unwind, all that kind of stuff. We may have to put dinner on the table by 7 or 8 o'clock. You still got 8 to 10. You may sit down and watch a movie with the kids that help with homework from 8 to 9. You still got 9 to 12 to get something done. What are you doing with your 6 to 12? That's what's determining your success. Your E to E ratio, your education to entertainment ratio. And I'm just talking about time right now, your time, right? Because we know a lot of time is more than time when you're dealing with your E to E ratio. There's also the money aspect. So let me ask you this. Every month, you guys are paying a cable bill, 70 bucks, 80 bucks, 100 bucks. You're paying that to be entertained. Are you at least spending $70 a month on books to educate yourself on whatever it is you want to be successful at? Right? Are you spending that same $70 a month that you're spending on cable to entertain yourself? Or are you spending at least that on books in the area of personal growth and self-development, finance, real estate, business strategies and techniques, parenting, if you're trying to be a better parenting? Are you reading the 5 love languages? You're trying to establish a better relationship with your mate? Are you spending at least $70 a month on books and seminars, CDs, tapes, whatever, to educate yourself in the area that you want to be educated in, to grow in that area, just like you're spending $70 a month to entertain yourself? Your E to E ratio, education to entertainment ratio. What does that look like for you? So for instance, if you're watching 4 hours of TV every night and you're doing 0 hours of anything that's going to help you grow and develop your business, develop your relationships, develop your wealth, then you have a 0 to 4 E to E ratio. And I can guarantee you, with that ratio, you are sucking in life as it relates to what you say you want to do. What you say you want to do and what you're actually doing is not lining up based on your E to E ratio, right? And I'm not trying to be harsh and pick on anybody in particular. If that's you, the reason I do these shows every morning so that you can understand some of your shortcomings so you can do something about it. And I'm not saying that today, if you're a 0 to 4 E to E ratio, that you go and just read 4 hours today. I'm saying understand that that's the truth. That's where you are right now, so that you start at least 30 minutes. So I'm gonna watch TV for 4 hours or 3.5 hours, and then I'm gonna read for 30 minutes. You have to start shifting that E to E ratio over time. And you at least, at the very least, you want a 1-to-1 ratio. Right? If I watch TV for 1 hour, then I'm studying, I'm working in my business, I'm reading, I'm growing, I'm educating myself for an hour. So I have a 1-to-1 ratio that increases my chances of actually getting what I say I want. Right? You guys are here, so I know that I'm preaching to the choir, right? But we all know people who are in the exact same place today that they were 20 years ago. How does that happen? Negative E to E ratio. A negative E to E ratio. That's how that happens. Right? We've all heard people say, man, I'm just living for the day. I might not even be here tomorrow. And 20 years later, they're still here. Right? Still living for the day because I might not be here tomorrow. Come on, man. We got to get out of that mentality. So if you say you want success in any endeavor, you've got to manage your E to E ratio. You got to keep a monitor on that E to E ratio. You have to start thinking about, what am I going to do with my 6 to midnight? What am I going to do with my 6 to midnight? We all got to work. We got to put food on the table today. We got to put clothes on the backs of the children and ourselves. We got to put a roof over the head. The 9 to 5 is good for that. But that's pretty much all the 9 to 5 is good for. So if you want something more than that, you've got to do something different with that 6 to 10. And I know you guys got kids. I've got kids. I've raised 5 sons and a nephew and a cousin. So 7 boys came through this house. 2 of them still here. I got my youngest 2 are still in high school. But 7 boys came through this house. 3 of them are in college. 2 of them are grown and working. Right? And I got 2 in the house. 7 boys came to this house, and countless friends that we helped mentor and shape and mold along the way. So I get it. You need time to spend with family, right? But don't take time away from education. Take time away from entertainment. See, what some people will do is say, you know what? I've got to unwind, H. Cortez. Man, I'm so stressed at the job. I work so hard. I got to have my unwind time. I get it. Some people work under a microscope. I was just talking to my team at my job today. They're putting a microscope on my team. I said, if you never worked under a microscope before, get ready. It's going to be a whole lot of stress, right? That's what happens when somebody's watching, looking over your shoulder all the time. And I get it. You come home and you need time to unwind. But hell, if you work that hard, you under that much stress that it takes you a full 6 hours to unwind, you need to do something different with your 9 to 5, man. Because that 9 to 5 is killing you. If you need 6 hours to unwind from one day or 9 to 5, you need a new 9 to 5 because that thing is killing you. So you got to figure out what you're going to do with your 6 to midnight, man. That's where your riches are made. That's where your true success happens. Your 9 to 5 will take care of your today, your current circumstances. Your 6 to midnight is what builds your life, right? That's what builds the lifestyle. You've got to do something. I say, if you do something you love to do, you will never work a day. I mean, that's it. Barry, Sir B, you do something you love to do. But the problem that we're having, Sir B, is people don't understand how to take this technology that we have and turn their passions into profits. That's one of the things that I teach. I'm good at that. Turn your passions into an income stream so that you won't have to grind. So let's talk about a few things. I was reading an article the other day, since we're talking about that 6 to 10. Here's a few things that you should be doing to flip your E to E ratio, right? Sir B. Barry said, do something that you're passionate about. You won't have to work a day in your life because it never feels like work. When I'm on a basketball court coaching and teaching and training those kids, that doesn't feel like work to me because that's something I love to do. I'm just passionate about that. When I'm on this webinar with you guys every morning, this doesn't feel like work. This is something that I just love to do. I will just be doing that, just period. I'm not getting an income from this. This is something I just love to do. And it doesn't feel like work. I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't have to be at work till 9 every day, 9:30. But I'm up at 6 to do this because this is just something I love to do. Right? I want to be able to help those who seriously want to put one foot in front of the other and do something. Right? I want to help those who want to do something, inspire, motivate, whatever you want to call it, man. I just want to uplift you, give you some information that maybe you didn't have that will help you along your journey. But what do you do with your 6 to 10? I get it. You need time to unwind. Say it takes you an hour to unwind. I know sometimes my wife comes home, she goes in the back room and she don't want to see nobody, right, for an hour. That's cool. All right, that's 1 hour out of 6. All right. If you don't have a mate that's helping you, get dinner together, get kids' homework together, then I know that's tough. Single parents, I know what that's like. I was raised by a single parent. I'm telling you, there's only one group of people on this planet know more about single motherhood than me, and that is actual single mothers. Right? I've been there. I know what it's like to have to be the one doing everything. So you may take an hour to unwind. It may take you an hour. It may take you an hour to, get the kids situated with homework and all of that stuff. You may have to pick some up from practice and all of that kind of stuff. I get that. And then you may have to take another hour to get food on the table, get dinner prepared, get them washed up for bed and all of that. But guess what? You still got 3 hours. And I know with those 3 hours, man, it is so tempting to want to just put your feet up, turn on that TV, and just lay back and just zone out. I get that. But if that's what you're doing every day, where do you find the time to build your dreams? If that's what you're doing every day, then where does the other time come from for you to build your dreams? Right? So here's a few things that I was reading an article on 5 things that you should do with your 6 to midnight, right? Number 1, you should be practicing your craft, right? Practicing your craft. We were just talking about turning your passions into profit. Whatever you're passionate about, you should be practicing that thing every night, whether it's 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever. You should be practicing that craft. I teach wealth management. I teach investment strategies. I teach business systems and business structure. I teach income shifting. So I'm practicing that every day. I'm learning more and more. I am preparing myself to be on the public speaking circuit. That's one reason that I'm doing this every day. So I'm getting my auditory skills together. I'm practicing that every day. Right? So you have to practice your craft. All right. Number 2, you should be reading more, right? Reading more. What are you reading? I'm reading things that will help me learn my craft better. I'm reading things that will help me perform my craft better. I'm reading things that will help me communicate my craft better. I'm reading things that will help me with my personal growth and self-development so I can have the confidence that I need to stand tall and take these darts that's going to be coming from every area, because you got to know that when you start going after your dreams, not when you're just talking about it. When you're talking about your dreams, you'll have some people saying, you can't do that and all that. But when you start going after your dreams, you start putting one foot in front of the other, and it starts to look like shit. It looks like he's going to be able to pull that off. That's when the crabs in the bucket start to try to pull you down. So you got to continue with personal growth and self-development and overcome those challenges, those struggles. So you should be reading that kind of stuff. You should be reading strategy for whatever it is you're trying to have success in. I am on my way to being a billionaire. So I study billionaires, right? Because I want to know what they've gone through, how they overcame that. Because guess what? Chances are I'm going to run into some of the same obstacles along the way. If you want to do anything in this life, you should have 2 mentors, 2 types of mentors. You should have an actual mentor that you can call on the phone and get some help from and walk you through some things. Then you should have a host of virtual mentors. These are people who don't even know you, but you follow in their career. You got their career under a microscope. You're watching all of their business moves and you're dissecting it. You're saying, you know what? Dr. Boyce Watkins started his own business school. Why did he do that? How did he do that? How was that thing running? So I've got to get into that business school and yes, learn from him, but also study the actual infrastructure of the school. Because guess what? If that's what he's using to help him become a billionaire, that might be a model for me to follow. So you have to study wealthy people if your goal is to be wealthy. If your goal is to have a Fortune 500 business, then you have to start studying and dissecting all of the Fortune 500 businesses. Go read the story on Sam Walton. Go read the autobiographies and the biographies of Steve Jobs. Bill Gates. These are people who built Fortune 500 companies from scratch. Start to dissect their careers if that's what you want to do, right? So you have to read more. So if you're watching an hour of TV, then you want to get to a place where you're reading for an hour, right? Your education to entertainment ratio. Education to entertainment ratio. What else should you be doing in that 6 to 12? All right. You should be doing something with the information you got from reading, right? So I tell you guys all the time that I subscribe to a formula called learn, do, teach. And I'm constantly learning. So I'm constantly doing what I'm learning, and then I'm teaching at the same time. The World's Greatest Salesman is a book that Barry Wilson is recommending. Yeah, I did a show on that, Barry. Most people are so scared to death of sales that's another reason that they're losing. You got to learn how to sell. You got to be able to sell yourself. You got to be able to sell your products and services. Even if you wanted to get financing for a business, you got to go and sell that business and that plan and that proposal and your vision to the banker who's going to give you the money. You got to know how to sell, guys, in every area of life. Even you single guys out there got to go sell yourself to a mate, right? In order to get that dating process started. So you definitely have to do that. But don't just read, guys. I was in this place where I was a mass consumer of all this information, but I wasn't doing anything with it. So don't just read, actually put it into practice. Do something with what you're learning from what you're reading. Put it into practice daily. Make it become a part of your spirit. Make it become a part of you, what you're doing. Because what wealthy people do, they create habits that will get them to success on autopilot. Wealthy people create habits that will get them to success on autopilot. That means things that they do every day without consciousness are moving them along their journey to become wealthy. So you have to establish some good habits. Why do you think poor people stay in a perpetual state of poverty? Because of the habits they do daily, watching too much TV and not educating themselves, right? Spending too much money and time on entertainment and not enough money on education. That's a habit. And that habit keeps you in a perpetual state of poverty. You want to change your habits. That's why you study wealthy people. What do they do every day? I'm reading the Millionaire Next Door. And it says wealthy people have a few things in common. One, they all up at 5:30, 6 o'clock every morning. All of them. One, they exercise every morning, get their blood pumping, get their heart rate up. Why? Because they flood their brain with oxygen, so now they can see clearer, they can think clearer. Every morning. Those are things that wealthy people have in common. Wealthy people read 4 to 6 books per month. Their education ratio is far greater than their entertainment ratio. And even when they do participate in entertainment, they do the next thing that I want to tell you to do in your 6 to 12. They are networking, constantly meeting people, constantly adding people of value to their circle of influence. So even when they entertain, they have a habit of doing something that's going to lead to greater wealth for them, even when they're entertaining. What do you do when you're entertaining? Right? Are you doing something productive while you're entertaining? Wealthy people have a habit of their daily habits lead them to success. What are your daily habits leading you to? If they're not leading, if you've been doing the same thing for the last 10 years and wonder why you're not getting ahead, that simply means you need to change your habits, because what you're doing every day is keeping you stuck. You have to start doing something different. Do it 21 days straight. That's how you set in a habit. 21 days straight of doing anything creates a habit. Do it for 30 days straight and you lock that habit in. Now you will feel ill if you don't do that thing. Right? Wealthy people feel ill if they don't do their daily habits. You want to get to a place where I read so much every day. I'm listening to audios every day that the days that I don't do that, I literally feel ill. You can ask my wife. She hates it when I'm trying to relax and I'm trying to force myself into some downtime. She said, man, you just walking around this house looking like a zombie. You don't know what to do with yourself, because I'm so used to putting one foot in front of the other to accomplish my dreams and goals. So when I try to relax, I have a tough time relaxing, because my brain is constantly going and laying out plans, blueprints to get me to where I want to go. So sometimes it gets a little difficult for me to actually take a load off, put my phone down, stop networking, stop communicating, stop everything, and just chill. But that's where you want to be. You want your habits to be so ingrained that if you miss a day, just like people who exercise rigorously and religiously, they miss a day on exercising, they literally feel ill. Those are the types of habits that you want to have in your life that will lead you to success, right? So networking is the other thing that you need to be doing in your 6 to 12, right? I know a lot of you guys, some of you guys are watching on Facebook Live, some of you guys are on YouTube. Let's stop playing with Facebook. Let's stop playing with it. If you're going to be on that thing, that is a multi-billion-dollar platform, and you haven't figured out how to extract a dime from it, right? Facebook is a multi-billion-dollar platform. You've been on it for 10 years and haven't figured out how to extract a dime from it. Education to entertainment. You're using that thing as an entertainment platform. Start educating yourself on how to use it as a money generating platform for yourself. If you're going to be on it, let's be on it and let's start winning from it. I extract money from Facebook at least 3 or 4 times a month, at least. And guess what? I'm in my education mode where I'm learning how to turn that thing into a cash machine daily, every day, right? You can do that, guys. You can do that. But we got to get to a place where that's got to be our will. We got to want that more than anything. Stop talking about what you want to do. And in my Kimberly Elise voice from man, she did the movie with Denzel where the kid needed the heart transplant. And at one point in that movie, she just looked him dead in his face and said, "Do something," right? Because she wanted him to do something about her son dying. You've got to get to that place where you're going to literally do something about your situation. Stop talking about it. Start doing something. Education to entertainment ratio. Now, we're talking about this from a time. So here are the 4 things that you should be doing at a minimum with your 6 to midnight. You should be practicing your craft. Take some of that time, practice your craft. And I'm not saying don't ignore your family, because I've been guilty of that too, right? And I'm trying to be transparent. I've been guilty of that too. Head down, just grinding. So you can't ignore your family. I'm not saying that. Give your family their time. But during your 6 to midnight, you have to steal away some time to practice your craft, steal away some time to read more, steal away some time to start implementing that which you are reading and learning, and you have to steal away some time to start networking with other people who are doing the same thing along the same path, because your network, the people in your circle, have a large part to do with your net worth, right? How much money are you worth is determined in large part by the people you network with. So you should be spending some time developing and cultivating your net worth, right? I'm right now in the process of weaseling and wiggling my way into a network of 6, 7, and 8 figure earning millionaires, right? Because I need to be in that network. I need to be in that circle. I need to know what they know. So whatever I got to do, if I got to serve my way into that group, if I got to train my way into that group, if I got to just hang around them from afar, if I just got to get this close to them, that whatever I got to do, I'm going to break into this circle of multi-millionaires. And I'm going to sit at their feet and I'm going to study their every move. Your network equals your net worth, right? If you're not worth anything today, chances are that's because you're not networking with anybody who is worth anything today. Because think about it, if you only network with broke people, what are you learning? How to maintain that brokenness. Start networking with people who got something going on in their lives, then you start learning how to put one foot in front of the other and go after your dreams the same way that they have. So practice your craft, read more, do something with what you're reading, network more, then repeat. You repeat those 4 every day. Practice your craft, read more, do something with what you're reading and you're learning, network, cultivate your network of people who are influencing you and you have influence over. Then you repeat those steps daily. That becomes your habit. When that becomes your habit, then success will track you down. I promise you. Ask me how I know. Because I started this about 18, 19 months ago. And now I'm getting, my phone is ringing. Success is starting to track me down. Yesterday, we talked about seed time and harvest. And some of you said that when my past catches up with me, that's going to be a bad thing. Well, guess what? It doesn't always have to be. Depends on the type of seeds that you're sowing. I've been sowing solid, good seeds, positive seeds for the last 18 months. So now my past is catching up with me. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing because of the seeds that I've sown for 18 months. It just took some time for those plants to germinate and start bearing fruit. Now success is literally chasing me down. That's where you want to be. Get your life in a place where you're doing success habits on autopilot, and success will find you. Success will find you. I promise you that, guys. So those are the 4 things that you do, and then you repeat that until they become habit. 21 days in a row. Put yourself on a 21-day reading challenge. I'm going to read 10 pages or 30 minutes a day, 21 days in a row, and it becomes a habit, right? Another thing that you can do is you do like I do. I'm not an avid reader. I will say that that's one area that I'm trying to get better in, reading consistently. But my response is, my education ratio is more on audio books, lectures, things of that nature. So every time I hop in the car, my radio is not on automatically, because when you hop in the car and your radio is already on, chances are you hop in the car, start the car, whatever's playing on the radio is always your jam, and you start jamming and bobbing your head, and before you know it, you don't listen to the radio all the way to work. So I keep my radio off. So as soon as I hop in the car, first thing I do is I get that silence. And in that silent moment, I start thinking to myself, where are you going today? What's the goal for today? What is the plan for today? What are you learning today that you need to help you along your path to becoming a billionaire? And then I queue up something on YouTube. One of my virtual mentors, Robert Kiyosaki, Dr. Boyce Watkins, Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, Myron Golden. I queue up something on YouTube, put my earbuds in because my car is a little old, so I don't even have an audio jack to my radio. So I put on my earbuds, and that's how I rock out. That's how I rock out. Anytime I have downtime, that's what I'm doing. That's how I'm able to give my family some time in the evening, because I've been in education mode throughout the day. So you have to figure out how to make this thing work, man. What are you doing with your 6 to 10? Another thing that I do, as you can see, every morning, I don't have to be at work till 9. So every morning, my 6 to 8:30, I'm grinding in my business every morning. 6 to 8:30, I'm grinding, right? Got to find ways to put in your time, man. That's all I'm saying. Education to entertainment. Now, that is the time. Let's talk about this for a second, since I'm always on you guys about building wealth. Education to entertainment ratio. We talked about you guys paying a $70, $80, $100 a month cable bill. Or are you spending that much money on your education every month? Are you spending that much money on your education every month? All right, this year alone, I've already spent about $2,500, maybe $3,000 on my education. Seminars, books, training material, spent money on that stuff, educational pieces, downloadable courses and ebooks and stuff, so I can learn, because I'm constantly learning, growing. I am a lifelong student. And if you're not, then you're missing the boat on that. So what have you spent this year alone on your education? Compare that to what you spent this year on your entertainment, right? I don't know if you guys have been following Beyonce and her in her what is it, formation tour, right? I keep saying I'm gonna put a blind up in that window, but I never have. So now the sun is coming in. If you follow Beyonce on her formation tour, she was just here in St. Louis a few weeks ago, and we know how social media gets. Everybody is on social media, Snapchatting and taking pictures of their outfit, their new purse, their hairdos, their makeup. Now the tickets alone $200-300, right? Just for the tickets. And then most of these were women who took their daughters. So now that's $200-300 for a ticket for you, $200-300 for a ticket for your daughter. And some of these ladies have multiple children, multiple daughters, right? So not only is that $600-700 for tickets, each one of them had to have a fresh hairdo, right? So that's another $50 per head, right? Each one of them had to have a brand new outfit, including new shoes, right? Each one of them had to have a new bag. Each one of them had to go to a professional to get their makeup done. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that if you can afford it. But I know for a fact, a lot of people put that stuff on credit cards and they're going to pay it off little by little. And they're paying interest on debt that they could have used that money to invest and be earning interest. So say that is somebody who could afford it. I'm just saying, if you're going to spend that $1,000-1,500 for one night of entertainment, or you're also going to be willing to drop $1,000-1,500 to go to a real estate seminar, take a real estate course, or do some sort of educational material that's going to get you where you want to be. B got to at least give me Barry said B got to give him at least a kiss for that if he's spending that kind of money to come. And that's real, man. But a lot of women did that. I watched social media, right? And I saw the people, I saw the women, and I saw them in their groups and stuff, and they were excited. And there's nothing wrong with that. All I'm simply saying is, if you're going to drop that kind of money on entertainment, don't balk at the opportunity to drop that kind of money on a course, class, or some sort of educational product that's going to get you where you say you want to go. You got to be willing to invest in your education as much as you're willing to invest in your entertainment, right? I have no problem spending on entertainment because I'm investing in my education, right? I'm positioning myself so that I can afford it, so I'm not taking a loss, or I'm not using credit, or I'm not setting myself back financially to be able to take part in that entertainment. You know, basketball season is coming. I know, fellas, we don't have a basketball team here in St. Louis, so I know guys who are once or twice a month ride down to Memphis to see the Grizzlies play. Whoever's coming to town, if Cleveland comes to town, they'll drive to Memphis 4 hours to see that game. And I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying, if the opportunity presents itself for you to drive 4 hours and pay a couple $100 a night to stay in a hotel and all of that stuff, so that you can get some education that's going to take you where you say you want to go. Now, I'm not talking about anybody who has no aspirations. I'm only talking to people who say they want success in finance, business, relationships, or whatever. If you want success in a relationship and there's an opportunity for you to drive 4 hours to see one of the best relationship coaches, and it costs you a couple $100, are you willing to spend that couple $100, spend that time, drive that to get that, as you are to drive the 4 hours to go see the ball game? That's all I'm saying. You got to be willing to invest in the things that you say you want. Otherwise, shut the hell up, man. Stop talking about it if you ain't gonna do nothing about it, right? That's all we're saying here. Because the money that we spend on entertainment, if we spent a fraction of that on education, you would have what you want and you would be where you want to be based on that alone. If the time we spent entertaining ourselves, if we spent a fraction of that educating ourselves and what we say we want to learn about, what we say we want to do, we would have what we want based on that alone. That's all we're saying. Understand your education to entertainment ratio. Make sure that whatever you're doing for entertainment, you're at least putting some time into educating yourself as consistently or at the same rate or ratio as you're devoting to entertaining yourself. Guys, I am H. Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. This is, we are about 15 minutes over. So guys, I don't want to really do an hour show, but it seems that 30 minutes is a little too long. So it seems like 45 minutes is where we tend to wrap up every day. Tomorrow is Q&A. So bring your questions and answers tomorrow. Whatever you want questions and answers, branding, marketing, business, wealth, money, taxes, whatever. Bring your questions tomorrow. We do live Q&A Friday for our free game Fridays. So that will be Q&A tomorrow. And then next week, I'm lining up a couple guests to be on the show on a few different topics that are going to be extremely hot. We might have to get my man Barry Wilson on doing this thing in a real estate game here in the St. Louis area. So I'm going to have some guests on next week. But even if the guests fall through, you know, guys, I'm going to be here for you. I apologize for Monday. I had a long weekend. And I literally just was passed out. That's why we had to do the repeat of the show on Monday. But I will be here for you every day next week with Talking Money in the Morning Live. Today's show is brought to you by National Credit Educational Services. If you need credit restoration and you understand the difference between restoring your credit versus credit repair, then you'll want to get with National Credit Educational Services. They will create a relationship with you and help you walk through your process of restoring your credit. See, credit repair tends to wipe everything off, right? But a large part of your credit score is predicated on history. So if they wipe everything off, now you have no history. Credit restoration wants to restore the relationships that you have that could start reporting positive for you, and then the things that shouldn't be on your report should be removed, things of that nature. They will educate you along the way, so not only will they restore your credit, but they will educate you so you understand how to keep your credit score nice and pristine. And then once you go through that process and you want to get with someone like myself who will teach you how to leverage personal credit for business so that you can use business credit to start acquiring assets, then you can subscribe to my Financial Success membership. It's $120 to start, $35 per month to maintain that membership, and we will educate you on a host of wealth building strategies, including how to leverage credit to acquire assets. So again, just send me an inbox if you need credit restoration. John Q, there you go, Ariel. Kimberly Elise on John Q when her baby fell out and needed that heart transplant and they couldn't come up with the money. She looked at Denzel and said, do something, right? And he did. He went in the hospital with a gun and held everybody hostage till he got his baby that transplant. So sometimes, I'm not saying that you need to go into a hospital or go hold somebody up with a gun, but you have to take drastic measures if you want success in this life. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm your man, H. Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. Talk to you tomorrow. Peace out.